Hey everybody, it's Tisha, and I'm always really nervous to get in front of the camera. I'm really nervous right now, but I wanted to come and do my first vlog because I've gotten a lot of questions in the comments under my posts, in my DM on Facebook, just asking me to go over some of the tips, some of the materials and tools that I use that are a little bit hard to catch in the 60 seconds that Instagram gives me to do a video. So I'm going to do my best to give you guys a good first vlog, and hopefully they will get better and I will get better as we go. So please comment. Let me know what you would like to hear about, what could be better in the vlogs, and I will do my best to get better. So let's answer some questions. All right, so question number one. A lot of people have watched my video tutorials, have asked me about my cup. This is the cup that they're talking about. This cup is my tool cup. I keep my tools in here. So I have a lot of glue sticks for my glue gun, but people always want to know about this silicone honeycomb. I bought this early on because my first glue gun was high temp, industrial strength high temp, and I used to burn my skin so bad. And so I got this because when you're pressing the petals down and the glue is still hot, the heat comes through the paper and it's hot, and sometimes the glue will come around and now you have hot glue on your finger. So instead of that happening for me, I started using this silicone honeycomb, and it works perfect. The shape of it allows me to get it into some smaller areas, and I also use it like you do for spaghetti to whip up the glue strands that I call spider webs. So it's a very handy tool, especially when you're starting out. I don't use it as much anymore, but I will pull it out when I need it. So this is a good tool to have until you kind of get used to the heat. I don't use a high temp glue gun very much anymore because the low temp, it cools off faster, so you get a faster hold, and it's safer. What else is in my tool cup? I just put things in there that I need, my scissors, and a couple other tools in here, my tools for my mat, my spatula, and my hook for when I'm weeding, and then also my tweezers. So I don't know if I saw this in a video somewhere or if this was my idea, but it's a good idea. And I apologize to anybody when I first started out that I didn't have this tool. Like I said, it's really hard to get the strings, the glue strings, the spider webs off of the flowers sometimes. And I'm speaking to whether you're doing this as a business, whether you're doing this because your auntie asked you to do her anniversary decorations and you made flowers. You're going to get spider web strings, and you don't want to leave those on your flowers. You want to get those off. They can be really hard to get, and I have stiff fingers. I often comment about how I can't do cute little tiny things with my fingers. That's hard for me. But I use these tweezers to get in between petals, to get in between my centers, and just pull out spider webs. And I don't know if any of these, oh, yep. You might not be able to see that glue string because I can't see the camera, so I can't see what I'm showing you. But I would just take my tweezer. Here, let's go back here and get in there. And there you go. Pull that out, and I clean my flowers up that way. And you want to send out a good flower, a good product. And especially if you have a business, your image is everything. So that's what I use my tweezers for. What kind of camera do I use? I am still learning about cameras and lighting. I'm not a technology person by any means. I do have a camera. I have a really good camera. I have a Canon PowerShot SX720HS. I don't know what any of that means. It takes amazing pictures, and it takes amazing video. Why I don't use it often? I'm going to use it more, but I don't use it often because I usually am recording larger, longer videos for my YouTube channel, and I have to upload it to the computer to edit it. Then I have to save it. Then I have to upload it into the file to the app and then share it. And it takes a long time. And I work a regular job and I have my Golden Touch Creations. So time is everything. I have a very amazing camera on my phone. We're on my phone right now. The great thing about that is there's all kind of apps that allow you to edit, add music, and when you're recording, the timer runs, and we know Instagram gives you 60 seconds. So I'm able to see how long my video runs, and then I can just upload it right away from my phone. So what I would suggest, and I may change my mind later, is invest in lighting. If you can get a camera and you know about cameras, or you want a camera, I went to Best Buy and I talked to the Geek Squad. They were awesome in helping me out. Still, lighting, I think, is a cheaper way to go, but it packs a punch. So shout out to Kendra at Angelic Beauty, because she put me on to the giant ring light. If you don't know anything about the ring light, which most people do now, especially with the YouTube videos, they're amazing. They give you awesome lighting. It makes your picture look so much better. I'm using a ring light right now, but I'm using a smaller one with a cell phone attachment to hold the phone. So lighting and cameras. Lighting is a cheaper way to go, but your images, either way, you want to invest in clear pictures and clear videos. So, all right. So a lot of people are asking me about the tool that I often use, and it's called a bone folder. I actually have a lot of these. This one's my favorite one. I got it from Hobby Lobby. I have one that came with a kit that I don't really use that much. It's a little bit thicker. I have one that came with some Martha Stewart things that I had. And then I have my funny shape one here. These are all bone folders. And what I use them for, most flower makers use them for, is to curl our petals. You can hold them. I've seen them held all kinds of ways. I tend to hold mine like this. And you just take the edge of the petal that you want to curl. So you would take this, and I hold mine kind of like this. Sorry, you guys aren't getting a good picture. There we go. Pull, and there's your curl. So that's what I use my bone folder for. I've seen people use them to score or crease their petals. You can definitely do that. Some petals we curl, some we crease, some we do both. But another thing, if you want to curl and you don't want to use a bone folder, I've seen people use scissors. I'm heavy-handed. I've cut my petal, I've gone through the paper, and I've cut my finger too. So I don't use scissors, but I've seen people, and I actually have used a glue stick before too. This is a larger glue stick, but you can use this over and over and over. It creates a really defined curl that I don't get with my bone folder all the time, so I will use this. But I also have, for scoring, I've been asked before about this. It's an envelope opener. And I use this with a scoring board instead of my bone folder when I want to get any type of straight line so that I can fold something. So the point is that you can use a lot of there's 1,000 ways to do one thing. So use what you have. Don't feel like if you're starting out, you may not have the money to jump out. I certainly didn't and buy all the most expensive tools, but you don't necessarily need them. I've even used a chopstick before to curl some of my smaller petals. Use what you have. It still will create a really pretty flower for you. There's all kinds of tools out there. So people are asking about the centers. There's all kinds of centers. There's all kinds of petals. My advice would be to learn the lingo first. If you are trying to start a business of selling paper flowers or selling templates, you need to know your product. You need to know your business. So if you have a cutting machine, a Cricut or a Silhouette Cameo, which is what I have, I've never owned a Cricut. When I was looking into which machine to buy, I asked a couple Cricut owners and a couple Silhouette Cameo owners to tell me what they loved about their machine and what they hated. And it seemed like there was more of a love-hate relationship with the Cricut, and I didn't want that. So I chose to go with the Silhouette Cameo 3. The first week was rough. I was like, I just can't, this isn't for me. I don't know how to work it. It's too difficult. I couldn't get a clean cut. I was going through mats like crazy. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, it clicked. I love my machine. I love my machine. Let me say that again. When I got that machine, my only thought was, I need to make better flowers. I was cutting flowers by hand. I was limited on what kind of centers I could do because I was cutting them by hand. It would take me 4 hours to finish 2 flowers, sometimes 1 flower. And I just wanted a machine to help me with that. Let me tell you, that has been the best investment for my business. I have done things with that Silhouette Cameo. I don't even think they've advertised some of the things that I've been able to create or make, with that machine. And it continues to amaze me. It's just really been an awesome machine. I have not had half of the struggles that some of the Cricut owners were warning me about. I've not really even heard a lot of complaints from other Cameo owners. So I just feel like that machine is a more superior machine. That's just my opinion. I know that a lot of florists and creators have the Cricut. It seems to be the go-to device. And especially when I go in stores, they have a whole section of their supplies. And I think I even have my hook is their hook. But let me tell you, my machine, and I'm a cheerleader for it, Silhouette Cameo 3 has a winner. That's just my opinion. So that's the machine that I use. But back to the templates. So you need to know the machines use vector files and you have to download them. So your templates, which are the shapes for your flowers, you can get hard templates is what we call them. This is a hard template. And you get A, B, C, D, E, and F are your sizes. That's how I choose to size mine. This is template number 58. So what you do with a hard template is you take it, lay it on a piece of paper, like back in first grade, trace it, and you cut it out. You cut out however many you need, whatever sizes you need, and then you proceed from there to make your flowers. So you can get templates from me. They're not going to be the most intricate because you're cutting by hand, but you can make some beautiful flowers from some of the basic templates, and you can use these over and over and over. So that's one way, if you don't have the expensive machine, that you can still get templates to make flowers, whether you're just doing it for maybe your sister's wedding or your brother's baby shower, and you just want to add something special to the decorations. That's an affordable way to get those beautiful giant paper flowers, and you can make all sizes. Another way, if you have the machine, is to get the vector files, and that's DXF or SVG. And you can resize those. You get the file in one shape, and then you resize it in your machine, design space, whatever you have, and you just have your machine cut it out on the paper that you choose. There's also PDF. You can do it in PDF. And you print that out and then you cut it out. So you can do it that way too. So those are for petals. You can do the same thing for centers. I actually have a couple different centers, and I sell all of these as well, in my Etsy store. So you can go and you can look, and I'm constantly trying to create new templates because there's so many, but you can do centers like this. I use my machine to cut some really tiny ones. Like that. I mean, you can get all kinds of centers. So of course, you wouldn't want to get these in hard copies per se, but if you did, you must be really good with your scissors. And again, I can't do the tiny things, but I do have, this is a good tool to have. This is an X-Acto knife. I use this when I'm cutting something really small or fine with my machine, and maybe it doesn't give me a clean cut because maybe my blade has gotten old or my mat's not as tacky. So for instance, I used it on this center. It cut it out, but it kind of still left some of the center. And so I just took it and cut out the inner with the X-Acto knife. This blade is so super sharp. I immediately cap it because I don't want to cut myself, but that's a good tool to have. And you can get those. I mean, I've seen them at Walmart. You don't have to have a craft store because I understand A lot of people don't have a Hobby Lobby or a Michaels or a Pat Catan. So you can get a lot of these things at Walmart. Other center templates are a little bit harder, and so you do need to download those. This one is a common one. It's one of my, I don't use this one often because it cuts, look how fine that is. Those are all individual cuts. But notice that the sides are solid. So I've done videos on this. I'm not going to get into that into this vlog right now, but you would fold it together like this and then roll it. And you can get different styles from that. So here's one that I did a while ago. A nice fluff center. Or you can do something like this. A spiral center. So you can create different centers with different templates. Now, if you don't have a machine and you want to center something like that fluff, there's there's the open-ended fluff where you don't have necessarily the loops. And you can get that. I've talked about the 5-blade scissors or the herb scissors. I have herb scissors. They didn't have 5-blade in my area. And these are 3-blade. So I'm able to get something not as fine as this, but still multiple cuts without just individually with the scissors. The difference is you only get one solid. You don't get the two because you're cutting from here. It still creates a really beautiful center. I've made some flowers for some clients that have preferred that open fluff center, and it has really been a pretty center. So that would be a wonderful tool as well to make sure that you purchase. You can get the 5-blade scissors on Amazon as well. Okay, so now people are asking about how to hang flowers. I spent so many hours and hours and hours watching videos, trying to find out how to hang flowers. I got lucky. I ran into a couple paper florists who were willing to share their information. They were using dress pins, making hooks on the back of the flowers. And I saw a video, and I don't remember. You guys, I've been making these flowers for almost 2 years. It's been about 1 year and 6 months. And I've watched so many videos and just up late night when I should be asleep trying to learn my craft. And I saw a video that someone made with their base. So when you make a flower, you start with your base. They can be circles or they can be any type of shape, multi-sided shape. So this one is my go-to. They had a big hoop. And I started with that big hoop, but then I eventually went to this little half hoop, and you can just hang it right there. And I don't have to worry about making a wire hook, but I still do from time to time, depending on the material. But if you order any templates from me, you're going to probably get a base like this. So when you start making your paper flower, you start on the base, and you would take, I call it the first row because it's the first row you're laying. It starts on the edge. A lot of people want to start from the inside and then work their way out. I'm sure that you can do it that way, but most of us paper florists will tell you to start from the outer edge and work your way in. And you can make however many layers, how big you want your base, you fill it in with your layers. That's how I call it laying my petals. So you would start with your larger size petals, and they would get smaller as you go inward. Now, one thing that you may not know to me if you're new to me, I don't like to measure. Again, it's just not my thing. I like to create. I love to create. I like to look at things and just get a vision and go. However, I also don't want to be promoting sloppy work. That's not what I'm saying. When I make it's hard for me to answer the question when people say to me, well, what size should I use? Well, one of the rule of thumbs that I use is why I use this shape. They have sides. So I will pick the petal. Nope, that fits my side. Nope, I might use that one because when you fold it, it'll fit. But I'm probably going to use D for this size. See how that fits? That's a quick rule of thumb. I don't like it. I don't want it to be technical. It's not fun if it's technical. And my flowers that I create and a lot of my projects, they're fun for me. And so I try to keep it that way. But I do pay attention to detail. So that's how I size my petals. Sorry if you were looking for inches or centimeters or whatever else. You will not see any rulers in this vlog, okay? So the second question then is, well, if I'm not measuring, how do I know how big or when to stop the layers for my centers? Okay, I've messed that up. Took me a while to get the technique down. So here's a flower that I started. And this is where I decided I had enough layers. I like the look of this flower. So this is where it stopped. And I want to point this out because it's something that may make you go, oh, people are always asking me, what is the difference, or how, what's the middle of the middle? Well, that's why it's called a center. That's exactly what it is. It's the center of your flower. So when you're looking for or asking about that, that's what you want to call it, is a center. Hey, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still nervous. I'm sorry. So I like the way this flower is full enough for me. I'm ready to stop. I could keep going. You can keep going and adding layers, but I decided these 3 layers was all I needed. 2 things. A lot of time I will lay out my flowers in my design space. I used to do this. I don't do it as much anymore. I think I've just gotten used to doing it. And I would kind of guesstimate what size center I thought I might need and cut a few out. So see, that one would work if this was the center I was going to use because it covers that hole for me. But what I typically tell people is cut out the center that you want. And as you're laying, as you lay each row, check it. So I would still stop there because now my center works. Or I could add another row. Same thing with this. Check it. You have your center made already. And then you just, as you're laying your row, I laid the first row. I don't need to check that. I laid the second row. Maybe. Didn't like that. So I laid the third row and boom. Perfect. Again, I'm not going to use a ruler. I'm not going to get out a measuring tape. I pretty much do it by how it makes me feel. That made me happy. So that's where I would stop. So pricing. Yeah, pricing. Everybody, including me, wants to know about pricing. I am still learning about pricing. There's a lot of people that will give you advice. What I would say is, first of all, it depends on where you're located. My advice may not work in your city. So the best thing to do is to use a formula. We all know that we want to you need to know what you spend in materials, what it costs you to make the flower, the selfie frame, the backdrop, putting it together, buying all the drapes and this and that. You need to know how much money it's going to cost you. But then the part I think that we as creators leave out, and this is where I may not measure, but I count. How much are you worth an hour? Okay. You need to have that set in your mind. So if you're worth $25 an hour, keep that in mind. So now you know how much you're worth an hour. You know how much you have spent in materials. Always add, and this is where I used to kind of lose out. I would forget about shipping costs. I would forget about delivery costs because that is an expense. So those are your 3 things that you want, your numbers that you want to always have gathered. But that's not what you charge. That's only going to be enough you might get a $5 profit like that, maybe. Then you take that, and the easy way is to either just add 15% or 20% to that total. You could do it that way. It's probably the easiest way. If you are doing this for a business, then you need to take the time and invest in your business, and you need to get a spreadsheet, and they have all kinds of spreadsheets. I will try to post or share some, but I really think you should look for the one that works best for you. And itemize. You got to itemize. There's no way to get around it. You got to do it so that you know exactly what it costs you when a client says to you or sends you a picture and says, can you do this? I recently have been watching some vlogs from somebody that I would consider a mentor on Facebook, and who said one of her pieces of advice. She said, don't go to Google and Google the next person or Google their prices or try to underbid the person next to you, because the reality is you don't know if they're actually making any money from the prices that they have set. That's really true. So use the equation. If you are trying to make a business, you need to have a profit. So that's my advice today, what I've learned so far about setting prices. And I'm doing that. I'm in the process of that, of taking the time, and I have a lot, my product catalog has grown. So I have a lot of things that I have to itemize, but guess what? Once I do, it's done. So when I said your hourly rate, it takes me, I'm going to say it's I'm $25 an hour. It takes me 30 minutes to make this flower. So I'm going to say $12.50 plus whatever it costs me in materials and plus the shipping, and then add the 15 or 20%, whatever you decide to do. That's all I got on pricing today, guys. I really encourage you to don't negotiate on your prices. Be knowledgeable and set your prices. You know, you don't want your prices so high that people are turned away, because we are here to make the sales, but you also don't want to kill your business by not charging enough. I've seen a lot of great flower makers and creators that I have just adored on Instagram that I followed, and some of them are gone because pricing was the big issue. They weren't charging enough, and that's really sad to see, because they've made some beautiful things. So if you're out there trying to start a business or have a business, I strongly encourage you right now, get out a piece of paper, get out a pencil, and just start cataloging and writing down what your materials cost. Paper. So most of my flowers are made from 65-pound cardstock. I do use some specialty paper, more so for my centers. This center is made from probably 20-pound cardstock, and it's shimmer. I get my paper, I have tons and tons of paper from Michael's Craft Store. Tons of paper. It comes in a pack. You can get, packs of black, packs of white, packs of cream, and then they have color combos, and you can get like five shades in a pack. I also get paper from Hobby Lobby, and if you know me, you know two things. I love my Silhouette Cameo 3, and I love me some Hobby Lobby, okay? I'm in there all the time. I love Hobby Lobby's brand of paper because I can get 12 by 12 inch sheets. So that saves me. And you can use, well, I don't know if they let me use the 40% off on their brand, but they have 40% off coupons. So that's another plus. I can never seem to get real deals on my coupons at Michael's. I don't know. There's tons of people who love Michael's. So whatever you love. I don't have a Pat Catan's here, but Pat Catan's is awesome. Joann Fabrics also has a nice line of paper. Now, having said that, I am looking for new suppliers for my paper. I just want somebody to give me, more variety in my colors and some colors that are a little bit more rich. This is a really, really pretty purple, but I want a deep purple. I want it purple. So I am expanding my search, and I know that you can order paper from Amazon, you can order online from other paper stores, and it took me a little while to kind of educate myself about paper where I was comfortable enough to search online. So hopefully I will settle on a paper company really, really soon. So sorry about that. I had an incoming message that cut us off. Paper still. So I use 65-pound cardstock for pretty much all of my backdrop flowers, centerpiece flowers, any flower arrangements. Some of the flowers that you've seen me share, even in my own home, they're pretty much made from 65-pound cardstock. 100-pound or 110-pound is really heavy and sturdy, and so I typically use that on my banners. I may even use that for the base if I have a big flower, because you need a heavier base. But you can use specialty paper and you can pretty much use any kind of paper that you want really, really fast. Let me check really quickly. Sorry, guys. I'm still really nervous. So how did I get started? Well, my business is Golden Touch Creations, of course, but it did not start out that way. It started out as Golden Touch Decorations, Golden Touch Party Planning. I was all over the place. How I got started was I've always done decorations. I've always loved to do decorations for the birthday parties in my family. And the year before Golden Touch Creations got started, one of my nieces, they love this game called Minecraft. And I threw a Minecraft party. I don't have tons of pictures, but it was amazing. And I mean, I took months to prepare. I had to learn Minecraft because I didn't know what Minecraft was. And I did the food, I did the decorations, pretty much. I didn't buy any, I don't think, decorations at all. The games were Minecraft themed, and that's what I like to do. And I try to do something with the kids that they have to either dress up or get in character, anything like that. I like to do the baby showers in my family. I just like decorating. My sister, Coco Snaps Life, go check her out. Cora was on Instagram and came across a page where someone had done some decorations, they made some decorations and they set up some decorations at a party or a baby shower or something. And she was like, oh, you could do that. You could do that and then some. You could do that. Okay. You need to be doing that because people are asking this person, where can they order the centerpieces? Can they get some bags? Can they, when can they do their party? And she was like, they're getting paid for this and you could blow them out of the water. So I was going, ain't nobody gonna pay me to do, I do this for the family. Ain't nobody's gonna pay me. And she was like, listen, you're not listening. You're not listening, Linda. So I said, okay, let's try it and see. And here we are. It really went like that. And so shout out to my sister again, Coco Snaps Life, because we would not be here. I would not have done the orders. Thank you to my clients that I've already serviced and the future ones to come, if it was not for my sister. So then people ask, well, about the flowers. And let me tell you, when Golden Touch Creations got started, I had never made a flower. I had never made a paper flower. And my first flower was so ugly. It had the pencil line still on it. It was bumpy, lumpy, and rolled funky. I didn't lay my petals. None of this was happening. I didn't lay my petals worth a dime. It was so bad. It was so bad. And again, another shout out to Love Paper Flowers. Sandra gave me the best pep talks late at night because, again, I work. I have a full-time job. And so I'd be at home crafting at night and trying to learn and perfect and study. And she gave me the best pep talks. And there's some other flower babes, but I will forever remember her pep talks. They kind of kept me going. And so between her and my sister, those first few months, I just kept going. And so now, I have an Etsy store and I not only sell templates, I create templates. And I didn't even know anything about paper flowers in the beginning. So moving forward, I have been bringing back the decorating portion into Golden Touch Creations because that's really what I love. I love making the paper flowers, but I love to decorate. I love for somebody to contact me and all they know is the color that they want, or all they know is they saw this picture or they want it to be a mermaid and I can take it from there. And I love being able to capture that vision or that feeling that they want in my creations. And I have a lot of things coming up in 2019 that I'm excited for them to unfold so that I can share them. And just things that are on the horizon that I'm aspiring to, that I don't want to get ahead of myself, but hoping for many, many new doors to open in 2019 as we continue to grow Golden Touch Creations. But I'm definitely getting more into my creating, making things. You've seen a blend of that. My page has kind of transformed. It was just all about flowers. Now it's starting to be pretty much all about what I do. So that is how Golden Touch Creations came about. So I guess my family kind of has a big role in what I do and where I get my energy from. So thank you to my family. That's pretty much it for my first vlog. I have stumbled and bumbled through this. I've been tongue-tied. You guys have hung in there, I hope. Yeah. So like I said in the beginning, you know, more to come from us, from me. If you want me to answer any other questions, I'm hoping to work my nerve up and get into doing some lives where we create together. Are you interested in that? Do you want to see that? Let me know. But I appreciate each and every one of you, my old followers and my new and my come back around boomerang followers. So love and light. Happy crafting.